Good day. Thank you. Thank you all for attending this lunch and learn. Sorry I couldn't be there in person, but thought it best to save some dollars to come all the way across the continent for a short meeting. But I want to share with you my enthusiasm, thanks, and excitement for a very recent Board on Ag and Natural Resources study on coordination of land-grant universities. I'm a member of the Board on Ag and Natural Resources, as noticed, and also the chair presently of the Food Animal Science Society's Science Policy Committee. And thank you for this opportunity to share a possibility with you. I know you're all familiar with the National Academies. And the Board on Ag and Natural Resources speaks to the entire portfolio of everything to do with agriculture and natural resources to improve the productivity of agriculture. And you're familiar with the 160-year successful history of agricultural and food research at the National Academies. Things don't stay the same, and the land-grant university of 2024 is a little different than the land-grant colleges of the late 19th century. So I want to just present a few things that the board has been doing lately and then spend the entire time on our latest, or one of our latest studies on collaboration among land-grant universities. So we cover a number of different areas. As you can see here, sustainability implications of the Ukraine conflict, workshop on tipping points of climate change, the role of agricultural practices on development of antimicrobial resistance, the one I'm talking about today, enhancing coordination. Those are just four of the most recent ones. We're just in the middle of one on heritable genetic modification in food animals, spread of chronic wasting disease. I'm going to skip the K-12 STEM education. I'm going to come back to that. We just wrapped up one on the California Department of Food and Agriculture's disease system. We're working on one, or we just had a workshop on greenhouse gas emissions from wildfires. So three more on agricultural and food systems, climate security, the social ecological consequences of wildfires. And then this last one is building impactful collaboration platforms in the land grant system, and that's a follow-up on the land grant coordination study. But in 2021, the Continuing Resolution Act authorized NCFAR to present the National Academies with a statement of task on identifying key factors for successful outcomes of coordinated and collaborative projects between colleges and universities in the land grant system, especially those involving historically black colleges and universities, tribal schools, which address national challenges, global food security. And as always, the committee will and now has prepared a report. So the land-grant universities and colleges, as you know, have been the backbone of our agricultural and food systems research, education, and application extension outreach system. So, but again, as I mentioned in the intro, we had a long history of needing small-scale, very specific studies on how to breed plants, how to plant, how to fertilize the soil, how to breed animals, how to feed animals, preventing animal diseases, very reductionist type work to get the science we need for the efficiency of food production. In a large sense, we've done most of that. And what we need to do now is identify, prevent, solve very complex problems. We know for a fact that the weather and climate in the western United States affects the food system and the nutrition of everybody in the United States. We know that the consumer demands for different types of foods, different types of nutrients, for the proper treatment of animals, for the proper treatment of soils, for environmental impact. These all affect the agricultural system. And you've been there. You're doing that of how do we take care of these complex problems, like we have for all other things that we do. But the board was asked to conduct a panel on how we can get this job done. And when that panel was commissioned, I was new to the board. And as a personal story, I started my career at a land-grant university 52 years ago as a student. I've been trained there. I've worked there. I've worked with several land grants across the country. And I told the board, please don't forget the 1992 study that was commissioned, the 1996 study that was commissioned, and another one in the mid-2000s. And my big message to you today is take a look at the executive summary of this report, and please don't let it just sit on the shelf. Let's keep moving forward on these complex problems. So these are some of the specifics. How do we enhance collaboration among land-grant universities? We have to talk about national priorities. We have to consider factors that contribute to the administrative goals of efficiency and transparency in reporting. We were asked to prepare and present a multi-day workshop of the framework of principles for successful coordination and collaboration, put those principles in a short report, and recommend processes that we can use on complex problems. So the recommendations of the panel are that Congress take action to facilitate the participation of all land-grant colleges and universities in multi-state research and extension projects, all including historically black colleges and universities and tribal schools. Land-grant administrators should examine how to reduce the variability in committed support for faculty participation in collaborative activities. As we know, with the philosophy of local control, which I support, directors can choose how to use those monies for collaborative studies. We need to make a system which is more reasonable, more coordinated nationwide, so that different states and schools can play at the table. We need to train and reward and award faculty members to work as teams. Most people do that today, but it is very difficult in the system of tenure and promotion when you are supposed to prove what you have done specifically, which we agree with, but what's been the big impact on complex problems? Simply doing good science and publishing papers really isn't enough. So how can we train, support, reward faculty, have the grant programs necessary for them to work on complex problems? Therefore, we need to have the funding. We need to have the funding agencies that can support partners. We know that NCFAR cooperates with private businesses to have matching funds. We need to continue those types of programs. And we need to continue to train present faculty, present farmers, um, specialists, those types of students, as well as the next generation of students and specialists for work on collaborative programs. I actually met with people when I was on sabbatical at St. Paul 33 years ago from a major food company. And their message to us was, yeah, we expect students to have some basics, but we'll teach them all the nutrition they need to know in 60 days. What we need are people who can work as a team, people who respect others, people who can problem solve. So that message hasn't changed, and that's what we're asking you for here today. I'd like to put in this one more example of cooperation